So I'm going to open this meeting of the Conservation Commission on June 16th at 6:01 p.m. Present at the moment are myself, Peter Crane, Melissa Danza, Skip Clark, and Jared Gentilucci, and our administrator, the helpful Tamika Murphy. I am going to avoid reading this long text that I have because there's nobody from the public present. And if people have forgotten that we meet at 6 o'clock, then it'll be a really fast meeting, I hope. We now have a motion from Skip to accept the minutes of, May 19. We do apologize for last time's problem, but the internet is beyond our ability to control. So we have a motion to accept.
I'll second.
I'm just going to take a glance because I've only glanced at them before. Yes, I'll pretty much exactly. I remember it, which is good. Discussions, corrections, problems? Hearing none. All in favor with a roll call vote. Danza.
Aye.
Clark. Gentilucci. Crane, aye. Carries. Now, Tamika, thank you for setting us up for 6 o'clock.
Yes.
There is we have a guaranteed 1 hour meeting because you put the continuation of the hearing at 7 p.m.
Oh, I did a copy and paste. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm just giving you noise. We'll just vamp until 7 o'clock so we can take 12 seconds or less to continue it to the next meeting.
I'm sorry. That was totally my mistake. I'm not used to the 6 o'clock thing.
And honestly, I would have had you corrected if I had seen it before 5:30.
I hear ya.
Okay. So we have a submission for Lot 4 of Glenwood Place. I have here, let's see if I can find the right one.
Peter, I just got a message from Bill's wife, and she said that he can't get into the meeting.
Really?
Yeah.
He must have the wrong number, because I just got in, and I get a notification when somebody even tries.
Let me write back to her.
Yeah, true. Yeah, make sure that he's got the right number, Tamika.
Okay.
So here we have a proposed single-family house at Lot 4 in Glenwood Place. Here, let me actually scroll up a little bit so you can see the locus. Here, let me zoom in even more, because zooming I can do. So it looks like this giant lot is the entire parcel. And that kind of, oh, I see. This last little bit sliver right here is the driveway. And then he's got the house somewhere over here with the septic. He only barely touches the 100 on a nice corner of the garage, enough that obviously we have some jurisdiction. So we will, we don't have Julian here to answer questions, if we have any. But if you have any, we have Julian's email. Up, here comes Mr. Cannon. If I can get my mouse over here to admit. This is just a submission.
Should have went to the website.
Oops, sorry.
Mr. Cannon, here you are.
Yes, I am.
So we're just going over the submission that's on the agenda.
Okay.
For Lot 4 Glenwood Place or Glenwood Place Extension, I don't even remember anymore. For a single family home. Well, his limit of work isn't completely. Oh, somebody's iPhone is calling. Let's find out who this is. Who may not have audio. Ah, there's some audio. Hello, person registered his iPhone. Who is this, please?
72 Woodside Ave.
Ah, okay, great. We'll be getting there soon. We're at another. We're at another submission at the moment, but we'll be along as soon as we can. And can I ask your name, please?
Excuse me. John Poole.
For 73 Woodside? No.
72 side.
72 Woodside. Oh, I see. Okay. My mistake. Oh, that's right. It's about 73 Woodside, right?
No, we're just listening in.
Okay. All right.
That's okay.
Peter, I'm just trying to pull up the minutes from one of the most recent planning board meetings because this same applicant just received an A&R. So I was just pulling up to see if there was any details I could maybe give the board on what they're planning to do. Okay, I have a little bit of information that Julian gave. Would you like me to share that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so they are looking to create 3 conventional lots. Each lot will be 1.5 acres with 200 feet of frontage. They're looking to build a house on the large parcel and will also be applying for a special permit for an estate lot. And that was all the information we had, and the board approved it.
Okay, thank you. Kind of like we thought. So unless there is a question, we'll just consider this submitted and move forward. It is my understanding that, actually, do we have the check for this yet, Tamika?
I have not, no, I have not gotten confirmation from Anita that the check or the paperwork has been clocked in yet. I did let them know that it was coming, and they said they let me know, but they haven't gotten it yet.
All right, well, we'll put it on the agenda for first up next time. Next meeting, which is July 7?
Yes, yep,
This
I
is
did
going to
let them
be a
know that would
long
be the plan.
time until our next meeting, folks. This is going to be really interesting. Okay. That ends that one. We, Tamika and I were emailed 2 other submissions by Julian today. So I'm going to sort of put them through the ringer to put them up. So this is 44 Woodside. So a little story about these 2 submissions, this one and the next one we're going to talk about. So Blair Builders or Bryce Lemon Estates, however you want to call it, put in a request for a building permit for one of these 2, and I don't remember which one. I think it's this one, actually. And I said, sorry, dude, you need an NOI. They said, but we've already done that. I said, no, you have a superseding order of conditions for the infrastructure of Bryce Lemon Estates through the DEP, but that does not cover individual house lots. He didn't fight, he just didn't understand. So that's why we have these 2. I said he's got to do an NOI for any work that's in 100 feet of a wetland, period. Nothing unusual about that. So this is the first of 2. As you can see, it's a single family house. This looks like a pretty steep grade. Walk around that. This is, so the edge of the garage tips into the zone A. Happily not my problem. But the entire house is within the buffer. Most of the driveway isn't, which is good because that's a ton of earth he has to move in there. We'll have to make sure he's got decent protection up there. Questions on this one? Well, this regrading was all done as part of the superseding. Yes, all the gradings the majority of grading is done. I can't speak about the driveway. It wouldn't surprise me if it were, but I don't know. Oh, here comes Julian. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. We'll give Julian just a moment to join. Hey, Julian, you made it. And you're muted. Let me unmute you. That didn't unmute you. Nope, you have to do something on your end.
Hello, can you hear me?
There you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Hi,
fine.
how's
Thank
it
you.
going?
Just fine, Julian. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
We're actually going over. I'm going to back up one. I'm going to find.
I didn't know you guys started this early. I thought you started at 7. I'm sorry.
At our last meeting that we held, which is a month ago now, we decided to try meeting at 6 at least until we're back in this building again, which will hopefully be soon, but we don't know when that's going to be. We'll talk about that later in administrative.
That works.
So, this is 44 Woodside. Anything you want to say in the way of introduction to it?
Yeah, the only that I could say is that the silt fence hay bales have been installed probably three years ago, and they've been maintained since.
Right.
So that line's been pretty much established and maintained as far as erosion control. And the grading, all those lines you're seeing, those are already in place. They've been in place for at least 2 years. So now all we're doing is putting the house, because that was graded when the road was graded.
Was the driveway graded also as part of that?
Roughly. It was roughly graded.
It's fine. Again, we were talking about that. That's outside our jurisdiction. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, it was, because when they did there was such cuts and fills there that to build the road and have it all, they had to move the dirt from one side to the other. So that's, and that was 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago that was all put in place. So, but we're within 100 feet with the building, so that's why we're filing.
Is that corner of the garage being in Zone A going to cause you problems?
No. The Zone A only applies to
sewer lines and
drainage. And the entire house could be, just so you know, because you see a Zone A coming out on a different lot, and somebody has an entire house in the Zone A, except for 6 inches of the corner of the house. As long as that's where the sewer pipe's coming out, it meets the law.
Yep, that's fine.
So that's how that works.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Julian? All right, we'll consider this submitted. Now I'm going to take us back to this is lot 4 Glenwood. We sort of already glanced at it.
Okay.
But
that is off of Glenwood Place.
Yep.
That is right where the north arrow. That's one of a house that that's the bunch of lots that Clee had. So just to orientate you guys.
Yep.
There's a stone wall right there, and Clee back 3 years ago started developing some of the lots on that Glenwood Place extension area.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, this is just that's this side of Clee's houses.
Right. Okay.
So it's the wetlands are as depicted down in the corner. We try to stay as far away. They wanted to keep it up close to the wall. When we do the site walk, you'll see why they picked where they wanted. So we try to get it completely 100 feet away, but it just didn't work. But
I was going to say you're close, man.
Pretty good distance, yeah. So it's a forested type wetland. It's not a marsh. It's not a field. There was forest there, and it's heavily mountain laurel. A lot of mountain laurel in this particular area. So this one, I guess we got to do a site walk.
Yes.
How
So
do
I'll tell
you guys
you what.
do that now?
Let's look at all the submissions,
Okay.
and then we'll figure out the site walk to do all 3 on the same day.
Okay. That sounds good.
So this one is scheduled for July 7th is our meeting, right, Tamika?
Yes, that's correct.
So this is July 7th, 6 o'clock. 44, we're going to call 6:05. Okay.
Okay.
Come on back. So this is 48 Woodside. Same background as the other one. It's obviously, this is 2 lots away, right? Because they're, or is this the next
there's
lot?
a 1 lot in between.
Yeah.
Right. It's they abut each other on the side, in the back. There's a lot in the front. This is an open space project.
Right.
So you have where you can have 40 feet of frontage as long as you have the areas. So that's why they're like dogleg type looking
Right.
lots.
Okay.
So same situation. 90% of the grading's already in place, and the fill's already been put in, and
Yep.
silt fence and hay bales have been maintained and in good condition throughout the whole time.
Yep.
And it's pretty much what you got.
Okay. Other questions from the commission? Well, straw is, there'll be straw from now on, but this is.
They'll replace with straw as they need, but right now it was hay and silt fence. But Tommy already realizes that anything new will be straw.
All right, so we see that what's your closest distance to the wetland here? Looks like it's this corner.
Yeah, it's graded probably about 6 feet away. Is the total slope? That's down in the back side of the pond.
Oh, the slope is 6 feet away.
Right.
How much
And then
from
it grades up.
from the building?
Oh, from the building, I don't have that plan.
It's going to be.
I'm gonna say probably about 20 to 22 feet. Because the building width is 26 feet. And if you look at the scale, you're pretty close. It's a little less than the building width. So it's probably 22 feet.
Okay.
I know this is, I know you guys have the 15-foot want to try to preserve zones now, but this was all graded out as part of the subdivision.
Right.
Back before that was. So I'm hoping
you have lot, keep out problems on the sides and on the front.
Right.
This is just a walkway right here?
That's just grading. That's just a grade. That's just grading.
Forgive me. Duh.
The driveway.
This is obviously the driveway and the walkway to the front.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's just lumen seeded all the way around.
Right. Including the slope?
The slopes will all be lumen seeded. Yes.
Okay.
All disturbed areas will be lumen seeded.
I was going to say that's the only way to keep the slopes from falling down in the heavy rain.
From washing, yeah.
All right. Questions from the commission? Yeah. So, Julian, is this drainage? This is drainage is this a detention pond right here?
This is, yes.
Okay.
That is drainage going into the detention pond.
So up the road here, there's probably
There's a pipe that connects those two that got shut off on the drawing.
Yeah, okay. Yep, always helps to be sure. Cool. Next meeting, 6:10.
Okay.
So let's talk about a site walk, everybody. Okay. This is going to be a lot more interesting than I care to think about. Because it's going to rain on Saturday. Next Saturday is town meeting. But, no, well, that's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We can do a morning site walk. You think? Saturdays are tough for you. Well, we try to do them on weekends, but I'm in town all the time, so I can do it whenever we want.
I'm available anytime you want.
So,
And if you want me to go 2 different times, I'll do that too. If somebody can make it one time, and if it doesn't work, I'm happy to go and whatever works to help.
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, Skip, what works for you?
Booked anytime.
Wait, let me look at Friday's weather, and we can decide. Oh no, Friday looks fine. You want to try it this Friday? Because it looks good, which means it's got terrain.
That's all right, even if it does.
So Friday the 19th. It's a site walk. We're not going to go to Skips. Where do we want to meet?
Right
You want
on
me to-
Glenwood Place. There's a big area we can park right
Yeah,
on the edge of
Glenwood
the road.
Place. Yep.
What time are you looking at?
Exactly what we're going to ask next. So 9:30 in the morning.
Works for me.
Works for me.
I won't be able to make that, but that's all right.
Okay. $9:30. Yeah, I'm also threading the needle of meetings.
I know later in the day.
Right.
Like 2 o'clock. So
Yeah.
actually morning,
Is 9 o'clock better for you? I don't know what's going to work for you better. So I'm just trying to keep everybody happy. All right, 9:30. Julian, 9:30 at Glenwood
9:30.
Place.
Okay, this Friday. Perfect.
And, yeah, right by the flagpole's a really good place.
Yeah.
And
is that down there? No. There's no flagpole. See the spot? Oh, yeah, right to the road. Where the road ended at the flagpole.
That's a little past. I think that's past. It's a big straightaway there, so there's plenty of room to park right on the edge of the road.
all right,
So
we'll meet right around there. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. We're mostly smart people. I'm not sure I count myself upon that, but
Forward the road to the vehicle.
there you go. And reverse. Ooh, you got an expensive car. All right, Julian,
All
that's
right.
those three.
Okay.
Anything
Well,
else?
thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any?
That's it for me for this.
Oh, that's right, because we don't have any.
And once again, I want to just say to you guys, during this whole Corona time, you have had the most accommodating facility and submission and get things done than anybody else that I've worked with.
Well,
So thank you.
thank you. We appreciate it.
It's been wonderful. So
Even bearing a town-wide internet outage.
That's right. Oh, that was just awesome. Actually, it was much bigger than just the town, Melissa.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it went down into Worcester.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yep. It was wicked fun. Alrighty.
All right, I'll see you guys on Friday.
See you, Julian.
Thank you. Bye.
What's that?
You've got nothing to do with
Well, actually, I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. That's Lucas. So, skipping over the hearing that we can't process yet. Order of
Sorry
condition.
about that.
What's that? No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to make you feel guilty, but I really don't want you to, honestly.
That's all right. I'm going to run with Julian's compliment.
Oh, I will grovel if I need to make sure she doesn't. Not that I've heard. No, in fact, I haven't seen anything that indicates that they do. So let's talk about the Brintnal Estates Order of Conditions. Has everybody read them? Do I need to bring them up here? Because I didn't think of finding them in my email.
If you make me a co-host, I have it up that I can share if you want.
Ooh, let's see what I can do. First, I'll stop the share. And then, where did, oh, there's Melissa. Find the ... What the heck? Well, there, you're about to be the host, because I can't see a way to make you a host. All right, we'll try something else. You know, playing
Even just enable, yeah, screen sharing for anyone.
Go ahead, give it a try now.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, you guys can't see that, so let me... Hold on one second, Melissa. I've got to make this visible to the guys in the room. There we go.
All right, so everyone see these bad boys?
Yep.
So the only other thing that we should probably add in now that just about the DCR variance, that it was denied on the date that it was denied, and that any changes, need to come before the commission to the approved plan. That'd probably be my only suggested change under these.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, actually, it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they react. But I haven't heard anything. I haven't talked to anybody about this since that came through.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was mostly just saying that this is replacing the old one, and because you can't have two active on the same site, they should close out the open order within 30 days. Kind of a statement about the crossings and no defined bank. Just a statement about the replication areas and the different elevations, and that it was acceptable to the commission.
Mm-hmm.
And then about the replication ratio. This is the qualification for the wetland replication work, and that seasonal reports will be submitted for at least 2 years. And then only native plantings, no cultivars. And then a COC can only be requested when it's gone through 2 successful growing seasons, which is very standard.
So let me ask a question about that, though. Because the orders are only good for 3 years,
yep.
Are we sure they're going to be done within a year so they have enough to actually do the replication so that they can get 2 seasons?
So it doesn't have to be valid to have the 2 seasons. So it can go in towards the 3rd year, but they just can't officially close everything out until that extra 2 years is over.
Right. Okay.
And then this was a statement about doing the replication right after that retaining wall work.
Mm-hmm.
And then about the wetland seed mix. And then just talking about the level spreader, which was a part of the issue in the variance too, I think I read.
Yes, it was.
And then just the other permits it needed. And then I can add, DCR variance. Oh my gosh.
You're typing as badly as I am, Melissa.
I know. Denied
Isn't
on,
it great? Isn't it great letting us watch you type?
Yeah. So, any changes to the approved plan shall be reviewed by the commission. And then, doing a kind of blanket statement that says these changes, or like the commission will then determine if these changes warrant an amended or new order of conditions.
That's fine. Yep.
If changes. And then all these were just our standard ones as we usually were. Just putting in the approved plan set and stuff.
Does anybody have any other comments about this? About any orders, any questions, any comments, any changes, any additions, anything?
I'm good.
Hearing none, I would like, please, to get a motion to accept the order of conditions for Brintnal Estates infrastructure, allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission. We have a motion. And we have a second by Jared. Oh, gosh, I have to do a roll call vote. Cannon.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Gentilucci. Crane, aye. And so that's all set. Awesome. Moving down. Oh, wait. Now nobody else can see what I'm doing, so let me take... Actually, I have to take just half a moment to put myself back the way I was before so that I can share that screen and press the share button that I keep forgetting to press. There we go. Certificate of compliance for Lillian Milne, 5 Milne Road. Has anyone gone out there?
I did drive by earlier.
You did? Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
This was-
How did it look?
It looks like they put it on.
How long ago? How old is this one?
Well, this is the one they didn't do anything, right?
Right, this one was originally issued in June of '06. And they
They
never
just-
ended up doing anything,
Yeah.
and now the mom is selling her house.
Right. Okay. Well, having done nothing, it's easy to do to allow that they did nothing. So, Melissa, do we need to put anything specific on the COC to indicate that?
We just check off the invalid order of conditions one, or invalid COC, whatever that box is, just to say no work has been done. So instead of a complete, you say invalid.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I would like a motion, please, to approve this certificate of compliance for 5 Milne Road and allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Oh, we got a second. Roll call vote. I'll go backwards. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Crane, aye. That carries. So we have a COC that's all done. Discussions. Oh. So, yeah. We're about to use up all our time before 7 o'clock. You might have to stop us, Tamika, at 7 so we can actually do the hearing.
Sure, I'll pay attention to that. And I just wanted to add that I did send a letter to Mrs. Moody in the mail asking her to be present at this meeting. And that's that.
Yeah, I also had intended to reach out to Jen McGinnis to see what her interactions have been, but like so many other things lately, I just can't get to it. But I would like someone else to pick that. No, it should be me. It really has to be me. All right, I will find time this week to start that so that she and I can coordinate because of what we're about to do. So because of that, I'm actually going to come back to 40 Prescott Street. Let's do a quick follow-up on 73 Woodside. Has anybody heard anything from either party involved in the 73 Woodside issue?
I have not.
They're next door, but I don't think they are the complainant. So because we don't have any information,
Peter, would you like me to reach back out to Sean? I know you had asked him to come to this meeting to tell us if he had moved everything. If you'd like, I can email him and follow up for next time.
That'll be fine, I guess. I would really like that confirmation that it's done. My fear is that he's another 7 o'clocker.
Yep, that's very possible.
So we may suddenly get people at 7 o'clock, and that's fine. Since we have
I would say
anyway.
in the meantime, maybe if he hasn't moved that stuff out, just to say it needs to be done by the next meeting.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to have been done.
Yeah.
Actually, it was supposed to be
Actually,
done
it was supposed to be done for the
now.
last meeting, I think. Didn't we say that?
Yes.
No, I asked for a status report this time.
Okay.
They didn't have to report to us last time, so this was sort of an extra grace period that I gave them.
Okay.
So it should have already been moved. Please, I have to do some ugly things now, and I really don't want to. So I, I hope that they did it.
Didn't I see an email on that? I may be mistaken, but saying that they were going to, he had a tree company going to come in and cut some timber down or something?
Oh, no, Bill, that was a different, I think that was 76 Woodside Ave. That was Michael Nihey, if I'm pronouncing correctly. He had previously come to us, and Melissa and Jared had gone out and told him, you know, what he could and couldn't do, and to let us know when he actually cut the trees. And so he was just letting us know he was moving forward with it.
Right.
Thank you to make my mistake.
Yeah, no problem.
Good thinking there, Bill, because I had forgotten about that. Okay, so we will look for a status report from, and in fact, Tamika, also invite the other party whose names I've now forgotten. The Meads? No.
Michelle Cormier.
Cormier. Also invites the Cormier, because I want to hear from both sides next time.
Sure.
Just let them know it's at 6, so
yes.
we have other hearings. That's okay. If they're on early, they can listen to us drone on about stuff.
Sure.
Not that I enjoy that, but all right. So that's all for 73 Woodside this time. So we've sort of hit on this already. We did get, we were copied on the denial of the water quality, the 401? If I were smart, I would have brought this up. I would have had it handy.
DCR, talking about the DCR.
Yes, the DCR variance. So changes are coming, but it looks like it's limited to one area, because I think their biggest complaint, well, I could be wrong about that. I don't want to misstate their position. They certainly had big problems with the spreader. And they had a couple, go ahead, yep.
No, it's the spreader, the amount of disturbance, because they don't differentiate by temporary and permanent. So they equated it to like 9,000 square feet. And then I think it was also just the sizing of the culverts as well, thinking that it'll let a lot more sediment through. So they want them to kind of look at more alternatives.
Okay. We'll see what they do.
Looks like too, they were noting that they felt there were other alternatives to reduce the wetland tax. And they gave an example. I'm reading their example right. They said,
Hold on. Can you guys hear him?
I can talk louder.
Not really.
No, not really.
No.
Move closer.
I'll speak up. So from their letter, I'll just read this verbatim. It says, total wetland alterations could be dramatically reduced if the upland area was only accessed by crossing number 2 with additional culverts utilized at this crossing. I read that as meaning
Eliminate crossing 1.
I think so, yes. And if I remember correctly, crossing 1, southern crossing that was coming up from, is that Grizzly Drive?
Yeah, that's off Grizzly. That was the big one with the large culverts where they had to simulate a stream even though there isn't a stream.
Yes, yes. So it sounds like DCR's opinion is that keep crossing 2, eliminate crossing 1, and that will reduce the wetland impacts. I agree, it would reduce the wetland impacts. It would only give you one access to the subdivision.
Which is a much larger problem because public safety won't buy that.
That's what I'm thinking, is that might cause other issues.
And in fact, that will cause probably insurmountable issues because crossing 2 leads to the real intended long-term route to Brintnal Drive to eliminate the supposedly temporary access road they have right now for utility easement, or at least utility access, I should say. And if they can't continue Grizzly Drive, well, there are repercussions that go far beyond Concom.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. All right. Well, fortunately, we don't have to solve their problems. Other
Peter,
questions
just
or
for
comments on?
clarification.
I'm sorry, what's that, Will?
Just for clarification, the first one we looked at is crossing 2 or 1?
I think the first one we looked at was 1 when we were at the edge of the road looking down into the gully and the crossing. That was 1.
Okay, and then Bear Farm Road was crossing 2. So they want to eliminate which crossing?
They want to eliminate the big one, number 1.
So there would still be a crossing off Bear Farm.
Yes, I think, yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? All righty. So I had Tamika add this sewer easement from Miles Road. It's Peter, so there's a story. There's always a story. Let me get rid of some of this and go back to this and not go here. And search for, please remember correctly, 91 Pommogussett Road. 81? Yes, that's the one. Get ready. Okay. So, just after our last meeting, I got a contact from the, let me get this out of the way. I got a contact from the town website contact form saying there is destruction of protected woodlands happening abutting me, and I'm very concerned of what's going on, and can we look at this and take care of it? Happily, I read the email within about 48 hours. So I looked at, let me get rid of this, and let me widen the shot a little bit. So this right here, that's a sewer easement. Yes, the land belongs to, this is Brintnal Highlands. And the sewer easement comes here and goes up here and goes along here. Notice this big nasty wetland right here, and notice how steep this is here. And it ends, this is Miles Road. This is where the pump station is. Originally, well, yes, we'll talk about a lot of things here before we're done today. So, this used to just service Devereux at one time. When Lenny Gangle built Brintnal Highlands, he actually improved the station, made a much better station, and ran this sewer extension and improved it all the way up to Pommogussett Road where it joins the sewer main. So I found the sewer easement and said, I'll bet that's what it is, because we know DPW is maintaining the sewer line, the sewer easements now, so they have access to it. So I suggested that's exactly what it was, and I forwarded it off to Joe Buckley, our director of DPW, and he got back to me and said, yes, we're doing work right there. So why am I talking about this today? Because there's a problem. Because about 4 days later, Joe Buckley sent me an email say, or actually, he said, call me on my cell. It turns out, so the sewer line, made of concrete, of course, or whatever pipe it is, which runs right along here. I'm just going to concentrate on this area for a minute. You'll notice there's this big hill, steep hill, and it runs right into this here wetland. what happened is that when they built the sewer line or installed the sewer line, upgraded it, whatever, they certainly did everything to form the day when they did it. The problem is that in this area, all the soil turned to clay. So this is now an unnatural berm, which is holding up all the water that runs down here. What Joe said was, my God, it's wet. And he ain't kidding. I went up there 3 days later, or 2 days later, maybe it was the next day. Whenever I went up, it had not rained for a week. And my feet almost got stuck in the muck. Good thing I was wearing boots that day. So what he has proposed doing, and that I said, it sounds like a good plan to me, is he actually trenched on the upland side of the easement. And then at one point where the water starts to decrease, he ran above but across here with the trench. So now, and he's putting in pipes and he's going to do all the right stuff there to get water flow so that all the water that comes down this hill flows into the wetland. And he's going to do something. Last I heard, I wasn't sure what he's going to do to slow the rate so it wouldn't just all gush and eat away at this. And I don't think it's going to be riprap, but it's going to be something. He actually talked about maybe doing a mini berm on this side so that he could actually control the water flow rate. He's talking maybe wood chips, mulch, maybe. He's looking at a couple different things. I don't have the final answer from him. So Melissa and I had a chat about this, and we discussed, well, one of his questions was, what paperwork does he need to file? And we know he needs to file with us information about the work that they intend to do. That, in fact, is probably complete today, but I haven't checked it. I've tried to contact Joe a couple times, but he's been indisposed, so I haven't said, hey, get me that paperwork so we can talk about it on Tuesday. The paperwork is coming. Melissa suggested we do an emergency order to allow the work. There are actually, I suspect, no. There are a couple other problem areas further up that are going to have the same problem, it seems to me. I actually walked from here all the way to the end, well, at least to where the aqueduct is. And I found a few more spots around here and right around this tip where I suspect the same kind of thing is happening because they were also very wet. Not as wet as right here, but it's there. Now, the easement is cleared, and by cleared I mean they mulched and mowed and stuff and cut everything way low, so I had no problem walking this entire thing. So if anybody else is interested, I invite you to do the same. So Melissa, is there anything we can do tonight without the paperwork from Joe?
I think we could still issue the emergency certification. The whole point of it, is to have work that needs to be done soon because it's an impact to public safety or, and the environmental safety as well. So if it's going to impact the sewer system, I think that's kind of, important.
Thank you for reminding me, Melissa. Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is an important thing that Joe told me. Water's getting into the sewer system because the water is standing and there are manholes periodically along here. It's going right in the manholes into the sewer system. So this is one of the things Melissa's talking about the actual public health risk. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, please continue.
No, that's fine. So I definitely think that, that kind of qualifies for this emergency certification. I definitely think we could probably still issue it to him. I think one of the biggest stipulations that it can't be extended for more than 30 days. So we have to, pick a definitive I guess, end date. If, obviously some of the work, if not all of it, has already happened. So, we can kind of say the start date was, I forget what day it was, like Friday or something, and it'd be 30 days from them.
Right.
And then just kind of under the work allowed, we can kind of ask for that final plan to say, okay, what's your final outcome, and can you prove that that's gonna solve the problem and you haven't impacted any resource areas from doing so. And then probably just specify that, for the future, kind of consider if there's any other areas that he's going to need to fix. And then maybe for those, if he has enough forefront, where it's not immediate, that he could file like an NOI later in the future for those other spots. But
yeah, perhaps we'll see what he wants to do. I haven't talked to him about those other spots yet, so we'll see what if he's going to do anything.
Yeah.
Plans to. They may be far enough away from the manholes that he doesn't consider it a problem. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask him. I'll talk to him about it.
Okay. But yeah, I definitely think if the commission is open to it, that we could still issue the emergency cert tonight and just kind of specify like what the work that is allowed, that as long as that we understand it to be, and then, condition it to be that, a final work plan shall be submitted and kind of given a final okay by the commission.
Okay. So what does the rest of the commission think about that idea? About issuing an emergency order for them? The emergency, it's not an order.
Certification. Yeah.
Yes, please. Sewer easement, yep. Okay, we have and so Peter can sign on behalf of the board.
So Peter can sign on behalf of the board.
There, that's a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Melissa, is there anything else we need to settle on?
No, as long as you guys are okay. I mean, for the end date, do you just want me to literally do the 30 days from, was it June 12th? That was Friday.
Then it would have been June 11th.
11th? I have no idea, remember what day you called me, so.
You mentioned Friday, and I know it wasn't a Friday. I walked it on. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the walk on the Thursday.
Okay, so I'll
Oh, I
set
had to skip meetings. Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's close, but
Yeah,
I'll just do 30 days from the June 11th.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So let's take a vote. Cannon,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Gentilucci,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. I'm gonna call that the motion carries.
And Tamika, I'll finish this up and I'll send this to you tonight, and Peter, so that he can sign. And then this is also something that needs to be sent to DEP via mail and now email because of the COVID stuff.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That closes up that one. I actually need somebody else to contact somebody for me. Let me find the right address. Oh yeah, 9 Linwood. I swear it didn't take down line. All right. So this is 9 Linwood Drive. They put in a building permit to put a shed up, an accessory structure, a shed up. Let's go to the local, I'll go to 2019 base map. And you're on, where are you? You didn't do it. Try that. There we go. Here is the house at 9 Linwood Drive. It's in the mapped wetlands. I'm not going to begin to try to guess what happened that this house was allowed to be built unless these wetlands didn't exist then, which is possible. We looked up the vision card for this, and it was in the late 90s. Yeah, 98. So
I just don't-
Lynnwood. Is that the right one? Yes. So, given, oh, hold on. Oh, here comes somebody joining us to talk about 73 Woodside. Awesome. Given that the house is in appears to be in a mapped wetland, and that they want this accessory structure to be rather close to the house, I don't see how they can build within how they can put the structure up.
Peter, I'm looking, double checking.
Yes, please do.
GIS,
Yeah.
and it looks like Mass GIS shows the wetland further to the north. So I'm wondering if the wetland through town GIS is in the wrong spot.
Well, that could be. Let me go to the other site I go to a lot.
I'm on all of it.
Oh, that's exactly where I was going.
That's definitely a wetland that's on 9 Linwood. Extends into 5 Linwood, which is the property to the left. It shows it more in the back of the property.
Linwood is going to be down here near Paxton. I have no idea how to search. Oh, search for a location. Probably right there. Sure. That is certainly different looking. Now, the only thing that I don't have, is there a way to measure distance in Oliver?
Yes. Little ruler.
Here, let me do. Oh, left. Oh, you mean the left.
Your other one, right?
So if I go from here, no, of course I have to click and then go here. It's in meters, but 28 meters is 75, 80 feet. All right, let me do the next thing then and go to the original drawing, such as it is. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not as bad as I feared. So he doesn't have lots of dimensions, but he does say it's going over to the right of the house because this is Linwood. So this is the same orientation that we've got. And he doesn't say how, with no dimensions, it's hard to know. But again, if I try to take a guess, he's with that.
Yeah, that's closer.
Actually, it is. Because that's 16 meters, that's 50 feet. So he's within 50 feet of the wetlands. So,
That would not.
right. So I had said he has to file something, and he sent back a response saying, "Okay, what do I need to do?" And I need somebody to contact the owner to say, "Here's what you need to do based on what we see." And I still think that he can't get away. I mean, especially based on this, he can't get away without having the wetlands mapped, right? Because we don't have, unless he moved it. If he moved it back here, then he'd be far enough away. So let me go here, do this, just so I can get my this. Turn off wetlands for a minute. I need somebody to work with him to get through what he needs to do, where the shed can be put without posing a problem to him or us. So my first question is, who can help me with this?
I can help.
Okay, thank you, Melissa.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the map. That's why it sounded so
I'm
non-committed.
certain you really wanted to help?
No, just trying to figure out if it's shadows or actual wetland on this map that I'm looking at.
Ah. Well, I don't know why they said this whole area is wetland, but again, I'm not going to try to guess.
Yeah, because I looked in the wetland log quickly, and I didn't see that anything, even on Lynbrook, had been previously approved, like with any application. I mean, not to say that maybe it wasn't an RDA because we don't have a list of those, but
right.
Unless it was under a subdivision name, then it kind of gets a little sketchy in the
Oh,
list.
well, there was a subdivision, Deer Run.
Yeah, that sounds so familiar.
Right, because it started being owned by Deer Run.
So Deer Run Phase 3, whatever that is, was in 1998.
Yeah, that's the right time frame. This is the wrong house. So, oh, actually, I should have just gone right back to this one. Because this was sold in 98.
Okay. So, yeah, what I'll do is I'll look up, try and find some things on the deeds website now that I know that it's called Deer Run. That might be a little bit easier, too, and who did it. And then seeing if any of the subdivision plans that are recorded maybe have the wetland lines on them. And then if you send me, whoever sends me the info for that person, I would be more than happy to help.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do to extract an email. I'll probably just have to send him a message saying, send me an email address so we can chat. Because this is all done through Viewpoint. This wasn't even done through...
Yeah, if you look at the applicant sometimes, or the owner information, sometimes they list it there, but...
Well, let me see. Oh, not that one. This one doesn't work. It's this one. Did they give any? Oh, come on.
So I think actually if you go down 4 things to the applicant on the left.
Oh, over here?
Yeah. Yep. It's
Oh,
right
there you go.
Okay.
I'm glad you know this stuff, Melissa.
I use it every day.
I'm glad everybody knows things that they know so we can look like I can be efficient. All right. So you've got that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I only ask that you copy Tamika on any any communications.
Okay.
And that's that for now. So let's go back. Hold on. I am going to open the continuation. No, I'm going to continue the hearing for the notice of intent for 0 Maple Ave, lots 3 and 4. Would like someone please to motion to continue.
So moved.
There, we have a second. Roll call. Let's do Danza.
Aye.
Gentilucci.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Rain Aye. Okay.
Peter,
There.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't hear. Was it Skip or Jared that seconded it?
Jared.
Okay, thank you. How am I?
All righty. So I see that we have a Mead here. Is this Carly or is this? Oh.
This is Carly.
Hi, Carly.
Hi.
So we were wondering about the status of 73 Woodside.
Yes, everything that you wanted out is out.
Those are words I wanted to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have there been any other, I don't want to ask too open a question. I want to ask if there's anything else going on that you know of that we need to be aware. Maybe that's the right way to ask the question.
No, there shouldn't be.
Okay. Just making sure nobody's said, hey, you have to do blah, 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 and you haven't. I'm just making sure that things are, again, we'll probably do a drive-by sometime this week just to say, yep, that stuff sure is gone.
Yeah, that's fine. Everything, we've moved everything. We haven't had any other issues or complaints or anything.
Okay. Alrighty. That's good news. Thank you very much. We're glad to hear from you now. We were afraid we'd have to wait for yet another meeting. Uh-oh.
Well, no, I don't know why we were under the impression that it was 7 o'clock like usual, and then I looked and it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we tried to change it to 6 o'clock for the last meeting when you weren't on the agenda at all, and then we couldn't hold the meeting because of the internet outage. So it's a lot of terrifying things happening. So
no, that's okay.
The phone number ending in 1329. Who are you, please? Hello? Oh, 1329 is having troubles talking to us. Or doesn't hear us. Excuse me.
I'm here. I'm sorry. It was on mute.
Oh, okay. Is this Mary?
Yes, it is.
Aha! We haven't gotten to your property yet. We were about to get there. So that's good timing.
Okay.
So, Carly, we're all set if you want to break off. Don't get me wrong. You want to stick around? Feel free.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
So, 40 Prescott Street, we're jumping back to that. I got a phone call a couple of weeks ago from Denise Child from DEP about this property. She is displeased. Unhappy works, displeased works. She did want us to deal with it, at least for now, simply because if Mass DEP gets involved, there are automatically big fines involved. So she's trying to avoid that issue for the homeowner. So, but she's also made it clear she wants us to issue a an enforcement order. That's the word. And so we are here tonight to discuss an enforcement order for 40 Prescott Street. Melissa and I have had a couple conversations about this to try to structure it and figure out what we want the order to contain and what we don't want it to contain. For example, we're not going to ask for complete replication of the whole area because, number one, that's probably not useful. Number two, I don't know that we have enough information to fully restore it, to know when it's done. There are a couple of other reasons if I can keep going if I want to, but there are things that we are going to have to worry about. So, Melissa, I'm going to pass it over to you about the things that we expect to be in the order.
Sure. So, and I think, Mary, there was also, I guess, just a question of what has been done, if anything, since our last meeting on the property. Could you maybe speak to that a little bit first?
The only thing that we've done is loom the front yard and reseed it, and we haven't touched anything near the water anywhere at all.
Okay. It's like driving by, is it just something maybe now that we can see that the trees are gone? It looks like there's kind of like a rock wall back there. Is that new or is that old?
A rock wall where?
In the on the stream bank.
On the stream bank? That's been there forever and ever and ever.
Okay.
I can show you a photograph in 1982. That has always been like that.
All right, so nothing has.
If you would email that to us for our documentation, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Where?
If you can scan it and send it to us.
Okay, where do I send it to?
T. Murphy at townofrutland.org.
Okay.
So then, how do I want to say this? Yeah, I mean, she's our admin. She'll get it around to all of us.
Okay.
So in terms of an enforcement order, I think what really needs to happen at this point is that some type of erosion control needs to be put in along the wetland edge or the stream bed edge, just to prevent any further sedimentation from entering that wetland area from the trees that were cut. It kind of still looks like it's a little disturbed and kind of non-settled. So if we get any heavy rains that might pose a problem to that wetland area right there. I think another aspect that we really need to determine is the extent of the impacts that have happened, which would kind of include delineating those wetland resources that are there and getting a calculation of the impacts, which would also include kind of what did I say? An account of the trees and the species, like an inventory of what was taken out, and then also just kind of some sort of proposal from a qualified wetland scientist, for a restoration type activity that would be feasible for the site, that would kind of meet both DEP's thoughts and needs, and then hopefully also double duty on what DCR might also ask you to do. So our intent wouldn't be to be conflicting with anything DCR wants or needs or might have in the future. But I think at this point we really need, wetland scientists to come out and really assess the area and the situation that's going, kind of determine what the cut and fills might have been from the loam and anything that else was brought in, and just the total areas that were impacted that are jurisdictional under the CONCOM.
Okay, the DCR has already been out. They've already told me what they want me to do. We are putting some bushes and some grass and some wildflowers, and that's all. They told me blueberry bushes were great, and don't mow the grass anymore down there. That's all they asked for.
That looks beautiful.
Okay.
They were happy with what our plan was, and they were happy with what we had done.
And what it looks like.
So I think that's something that probably we would need also, whether it's a formal write-up of kind of what you're proposing to do. If they're fine with that, maybe we can contact them and ask for a statement that they're kind of happy with what's being done and you're in compliance, because we want to make sure that we're not going against what their thoughts are, but also incorporating them as well.
Okay.
Does anyone else from the commission have any comments on what they were looking for?
Good job, Melissa.
We're getting good jobs from both our guys here, Melissa.
Okay, but I just have one thing to say. Last week on Friday, 2 of you came out and sat across the street and were looking all around, and you didn't even have the courtesy to come over and say boo to me and ask me if you wanted to walk around, you wanted me to show you around. You just sat over there looking at the house. at the pond or whatever you call the marsh back there now. Now it's sitting right out on the pool.
Well, it was several weeks ago, right now? Not last Friday.
It was last week on Friday.
The last week on Friday was not us.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
No.
Well,
we came out.
Somebody else, if I'm not mistaken.
Because we were out there, well, before must have been a month ago now, because it was before the meeting that we could have.
Who drives the SUV, the red SUV? Looked like Skip Clark in the passenger seat.
Skip wasn't with us, so.
But this was last week on Friday.
Yeah, I promise you it was not us.
Okay.
A month ago it could have been us, but not a week ago.
Okay.
A red SUV. Yeah. I can't say it wasn't, because I haven't talked to DEP, because I got the phone call from Denise. I've also had email from the circuit rider, and I haven't emailed her back yet. So it could have been DEP. I don't know. I will reach out this week and find out. I'll find out if somebody was there from one of the state agencies, because I have to talk to Jennifer anyway, and I'll bring the circuit rider up to date with what we're doing. And so when I talk to them, I'll find out if they were out.
What's a circuit rider?
Circuit rider is an employee of the DEP whose whole job is to do local examinations and enforcements. Would you agree with that brief description, Melissa?
Yeah, I think they're kind of the primary contact in assisting with any technical questions from the commission as well, that they're specified. So there's like the technical reviewers, and then there's the circuit rider who also helps kind of the one-on-one with commissions.
I think she knows Jennifer.
Probably. All right. So are we ready, Melissa, to move on the enforcement order? To at least vote it?
I mean, that's up to the commission. I can also screen share some of the conditions that I wrote up, because some of it did require like an engineered stamp, so we can kind of decide if we want to take it that far, or if we kind of want to downgrade any of the specifics.
You go ahead and share. Just have to move this to the right area so that it's going to be broadcast properly.
I can't see the pictures.
Okay. So, Mary, because you can't see our screen, I'm going to do a lot of reading here. Please bear with me. And you stop and ask any questions that you have anytime you have a question, okay?
Yes.
Number one, the owner shall cease any work within wetland jurisdictional areas or work that has now impacted those resource areas. Only work relating to erosion controls, as stated in condition number 3, may commence at this time. So that means basically within 100 feet of, we'll simplify it, within 100 feet of water. So at 100 feet of the stream and 100 feet of the marsh.
That would include everything on my house that I'm doing?
Yes, it absolutely can. Now, by work, hold on, let me be a little more precise in my words here. I'm not saying don't do anything. We're saying don't do anything that impacts the dirt. So if you're, so No tree cutting, no digging, no planting. If you're doing a renovation in your house, that's a whole different question that's going to fall effectively outside the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission.
You can, and also to clarify, you can still mow, like you can mow your lawn, you can maintain the existing landscape, just not cutting back anything further or disturbing the soil, like Peter said.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, the owner shall attend the next Conservation Commission meeting to discuss further actions or updates pertaining to this violation. I'll let you know, I don't know if you noticed, but our meetings now start at 6, not at 7. I noticed what time you joined.
Yes, that's what time I joined.
Yes, so we'll be, I expect we'll be discussing this on the order of 6:30 based upon the other hearings that are happening.
Okay. When do you anticipate the next meetings to be?
July 7th, I believe.
I will not be here.
You won't be here. Okay, good to know. So 7 and 14 is 21.
I will not be here.
Oh, how long are you gone for? That sounds like a nice long trip.
A month.
Wow, lucky you. Because we don't have a meeting until then. So
I can just take this out because there's other stuff that just needs to be submitted. So if we just kind of get rid of this, I mean, they still have to follow the rest of it.
Okay, so so for the time being, we will conduct updates through mail and email.
Okay.
Or just take it out entirely.
I'm okay with taking it out entirely. Actually, no. Let me ask Melissa that question. Melissa, should we have something in here about attending Conservation Commission meetings while this? I don't know how I feel about that as a condition, especially since we know she's going to be gone for 2.
Well, I think, if she, by adhering to the other deadlines that we may set by default, she's kind of keeping in contact with us.
True enough. Okay.
So if one of our conditions after reviewing anything or seeing something is for her to attend a meeting, then we reserve that right. So.
Right. Okay. So condition 2 now. Within 7 business days of the issuance of this enforcement order, erosion controls shall be installed to further prevent the sedimentation resulting from the disturbance from entering the resource area. That means the wetlands. This shall be done to the satisfaction of the Commission and by a qualified individual / company with experience in proper erosion control measures, for example, CPESC or CESSWI certification, or with over 5 years experience in the industry. Once completed, the administrator shall be notified by email at tmurphy@townofrutland.org to organize an inspection.
And I totally.
Okay, and again, excuse me, the DCR said what I had there was fine.
And that's okay from their point of view. But we are looking at different things. DCR and Conservation Commission are looking at different things because we're enforcing different bylaws, different regulations and different laws.
And Peter, I totally meant to do calendar days.
Aha, thank you. Number 3, within 21 calendar days of the issuance of the enforcement order, a proposed mitigation or restoration plan shall be submitted to the Conservation Commission office via email at tmurphy@townofrutland.org by a qualified wetland scientist with a minimum of 5 years experience. The report shall include, but may not be limited to, delineation of regulated wetland resource areas, calculation of impact area of regulated wetland resource areas and their buffer zones, determination of the effects on habitat and wildlife due to the loss of shaded areas provided by the trees, description of the species and size of trees that were removed, amount of loam and sediment that has been brought to the site and areas in which it has been used. Engineer or equivalent stamped plan outlining resource areas and impacted areas, existing conditions and current conditions, proposals, etc. A plan and list outlining proposed plantings, all plantings shall be straight native species, with supplemental description on the adequacy of the plantings. Is there any other sub-letters? No, that's all the letters for that. Is that clear, Mary?
Yes, and you will mail me a copy of all of this?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
The homeowner shall also comply, it's number 4. Homeowner shall comply with regulations or orders issued by DCR. Any conditions that are in conflict with that of the commission will be reviewed as they arise, if there are any. These conflicts should be made aware of the commission as soon as possible by email to the administrator. Number 5, the commission reserves the right to require a notice of intent to complete the work outlined in the restoration plan that is submitted to address this violation. This will be determined at a meeting of the Conservation Commission at a later date once the required material is submitted. Clear and okay?
I'm hearing you.
That's a fair enough answer. Okay, that is the end of the emergency order. Sorry, enforcement order. Now I'm mixing up my EOs. Discussion from the commission. Changes, additions, subtractions?
Go back to item 3.
Right, item 3 is the long list. Yep.
So 3F, that's the one we're asking for a stamp.
Yep.
I can't hear him if he's asking to change
Oh,
anything.
he's not changing. He's noticing that F requires a stamped plan. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were alluding to earlier, Melissa, whether we want to require an engineer's stamp.
So do we really need a PE stamp or just wetland scientist, or what sort of certification do we want for the person making the plan?
Yeah, that's why I kind of did the equivalent. So if they're like a landscape architect or something, then, or if we just want to say just a non-stamped plan, just a plans.
I was wondering if the wetland scientist would be coming up with some of these items anyways. They could also.
Right. So Jared's question is.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear him.
That's okay. I'm about to repeat it. Jared's asking if the wetland scientist can submit the stamped plan, and would that be an equivalent by the words here, Melissa?
I think if the commission is accepting of that, then yes. If we want to specify that, I mean, I guess it depends. Like it depends who she may hire if they have their own capabilities to do so as well.
Right.
But if we will accept something from just the wetland scientist, that can be the equivalent, that they just need to show that they're experienced in this, and then that's that. I mean, if we make that kind of statement now that, yes, we will accept that as an equivalent, I think that's fine.
Just my thoughts. I'm okay leaving the wording as.
Let me move this.
I'm okay leaving the wording of 3F as is. And if the equivalent plan ends up coming from wetland scientists to outline resource areas, impacted areas, to define those a little further, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that when we see it, we can evaluate the qualifications of the person who did it.
Yeah, I think the point we're just trying to get across is it's not just a kind of hand-drawn plan that we need. We need a kind of an actual
Totally agree.
calculation.
Not the kind of stuff I would do.
Get the color pencils out.
Exactly. Not the Gmail picture with a house drawn. And okay. Other comments, questions, or changes?
Okay, so I just want to know, do you want the wetland scientist? You're going to send the wetland scientist or a list of people for me to contact, or the landscape architect that you asked about?
So we can't recommend anyone. I mean, you can hire anyone who says they have the experience necessary for this work. So, you know, the landscape architect typically does the drawing renderings and wouldn't be necessarily qualified to do the resource areas. I would think that, I don't know the best resource to kind of get a better list of firms that may do wetland delineation, but you can usually find quite a few just kind of doing a quick online search. But if you do have a question, if a specific company, like if you find someone and you want to ensure with the commission first if this is satisfactory, you're more than welcome to send the name over to Tamika's email, you know, and she can very easily send it to the chair and be like, you know, this is what their name and qualifications are, and, you know, is this what you were looking for? And I think that's an easy yes or no.
Okay, but I'll tell you, I am just totally out in the left field. What am I going to look for these people that you're telling me I can find them online? Where? What?
So I would Google or just look up wetland, you know, scientist or wetland delineation near me, or sometimes even reaching out to local engineering firms. You know, they usually have someone on staff or someone that they contract with that is familiar with this work that could easily give you a reference or somewhere to start you off.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we are ready for a motion to allow me to sign this order on behalf of the board and to contact DEP and DCR with statuses. Although I'm not sure I need that to be part of the motion. We have a so moved from Skip.
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Kennan. Other discussion? That's a good 5 count. Roll call. Kennan.
Aye.
Denza.
Aye.
Clark. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Crane, aye. That is unanimous. So just let me know when it's ready for me to come by, along with all the other stuff, Tamika. We'll sign him and get him in the mail straight away.
Sure thing.
Melissa, does this one need to be certified?
Certified?
Certified mail?
Oh, through mail, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it also the same to send to DEP and email and such.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Got it.
All right. I believe that covers 40 Prescott. Is there any other business before the board? And the answer is yes, there is, but just a little bit. So, Mary, you are welcome to stick around, as was Carly, or you may hang up as is your wish. Thank you very much for participating tonight.
Thank you.
Peter, this is Sean Mead from 73 Woodside.
Yes, sir.
I have a couple questions about Bryce Lemon Estates. When is a good time to chime in?
Oh, let's chime in now.
All right. So we've been having some discussion with the planning board over the detention pond and the stormwater management in Lemon. And I was told by the DPW guy to reach out to you and ask a few questions.
Okay.
In regards to what is is there any special order of conditions for the stormwater management system up here, and who should be in charge of it as it falls into DCR watershed and things of that nature?
Okay. So the fast answer is there absolutely is an order of conditions. It is still active. So a little bit of history. I know people are getting tired of me telling the history of this, but Bryce Lemon started a long time ago when it was just Bryce Estates. It's been through several revisions of plans, but at the end of the story, Conservation Commission passed an order of conditions for Bryce Lemon Estates. Those orders were appealed to DEP, and the DEP issued a superseding order of conditions. So the fast answer is the DEP is in charge. They have defined the conditions under which the project may proceed, and that it absolutely includes the detention ponds, the drainage system, how water flows out of the detention ponds into the wetlands. All of that is under DEP control.
Okay, because it was put onto a homeowners association up here to maintain and, I guess, control the stormwater system up here and
Sure.
detention pond and whatnot.
Nothing unusual about that around these parts, from what I can tell.
Okay, and we were just trying to get to the bottom of it and try and figure out what was actually permitted from the get-go and things of that nature. Because some of the research I've done, it was permitted as the town-owned property, not owned by a homeowners association. And it's since been changed at some point in time, and nobody can tell me when or knows why or how it was changed.
Well,
or if it was really even changed.
Right. That is a question I'm not going to be able to answer for you. It would surprise me that if it were already turned over to the town. If it were going to be turned over to the town, that would be at the end of everything, when the entire estate's done.
Yeah, and it's the way it's worded is it turns over to the 110 homeowners in the neighborhood.
Right. Okay.
All liability and maintenance and everything falls onto us, and it's something that was never told to us or anything along that lines until we found out about it, and we're just trying to get to the bottom of it and how the permit was supposed to be filed.
Right. So
in general.
Yeah, so I don't know how much help I can be on this, other than to say right now the DEP controls the orders and the enforcement. I'll also say that at this point in time, the detention ponds are probably blocked, and purposely so, because they're still building and there's still a lot of sedimentation happening. And so the detention pond are turned into effectively sedimentation ponds. It's where the water runs and collects all the sedimentation that runs off every piece of land, goes into a detention pond and sits there. And at the end of the process, when all the building is done and all of the lawns have taken shape and everything's established, then the builder will has a final cleaning issue and will open the detention pond so they actually drain into the wetlands.
Okay.
And to add on to that, so if you contact DEP and ask for those documents from the superseding order of conditions, make sure you get a copy of the stormwater pollution prevention plan in the on the operations and maintenance plan, and that should lay out very clearly what's supposed to be happening during construction and after construction. So once theoretically the homeowners association takes it over, it should lay out all the requirements that you guys are supposed to do in terms of monitoring, cleanup, and any reporting that you may have to do.
Okay. Is there any certain person I should look to contact? Is there a local office?
So there's Central Region.
Central Region. Okay.
Denise Child is the regional section chief. I think her email is probably on the website.
Okay. I will take a look and see if I can find it.
Now, Sean, I will tell you that I'm actually interested in what you come up with at the end personally, because I live on a private way that they're going to turn over to, that they intend to turn over the town, but they haven't yet. And I have a detention pond on my property.
Okay. Well, I can tell you it falls under zoning board or zoning bylaw section 35.
Okay, thanks.
It lays out a lot of information that was not relayed.
Okay. Are there other questions we can help you with today?
Nope, that'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So, other little issues. I know this is our first one. How is 6 o'clock working for the commission?
Good for
I know
me.
we're still going to be a 2-hour meeting, but we're going to be a 2-hour meeting ending at 8 instead of a 2-hour meeting ending at 9.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have no complaints.
Okay. So our next meeting on July 7th is, because I can read a calendar, I know is after July 1st.
Who's going to be here?
Well, hold on. Town buildings are scheduled to open to the public July 1st. But until the governor lifts his 10-person indoor limit for people gathering, we're kind of stuck because we start, well, if 5 of us show up plus Tamika, that's 6, which means we can only have 4 people in the building. And since,
The building or in the room?
well,
They can stay out there.
and we have to do all the social distancing stuff. So it's unclear to me if the next meeting. Now, let me also make this. It would be very difficult to have the meeting in this room and on Zoom. For the reason that you guys are hearing, which is that these guys, people on the other side, can't really hear you. This is the microphone for the entire room for Zoom. And if all of us were in here and we needed public participation where we would have a Zoom meeting for it in order to ensure that there was adequate public participation, which is important because we have 3 hearings next time, we don't have a technology. We, the Cable Commission, don't have a technology that will allow us to speak and us to hear and the outside world to hear and be able to record / broadcast. So I think the next meeting we have to have on Zoom. I'm willing to take this one at a time. I'm waiting for the governor to lift his 10-person limit. If it goes to 15, I would be very comfortable. We can fit 15 people in this room, socially distant, appropriately distant, and I feel that that would be good. That would be okay for us. But for the next one, I don't see how we can do that. I'm going to keep working with the cable guys to see that we can, if we can solve our technology problem. As it is now, this meeting is different from every other meeting because I'm doing Zoom here and displaying here, and what you see on that screen is what's going on the TV, and the computer that's managing the audio is in our back studio. Connect through wireless mic to our soundboard. We have some stuff going on here to make this work. So next time, again, Zoom. The time after that, we'll see what we have on the agenda to make sense. That will make the most sense for us to do. I got a question recently about IDs. I have done 0 with them. Thank you to those of you who sent me pictures. I do have them. I'm not going to point fingers or names or anything else. I'll just say that when I get a whole bunch or more, then I'll send the bunch into Jason and he can make them and send them to us and we'll have our official IDs. Commission members. We have three commission members up for renewal this year, which is supposed to happen by July 1, but fat chance. Everybody's still on the commission. It's called a carryover or a holdover. Until you are replaced or explicitly declined, you're still on the commission. So we're all going to stay there. But the select board is finally thinking about doing appointments Up this year is Skip and Melissa. Who am I? Oh, and Mr. Cannon. Bill Cannon is our third one. I've gotten positive acknowledgement from each of you that you want to be on the commission. So I would like a motion. Oh, I'm just going to be interesting because I don't want one of you three to you get to set the motion, and I guess I get to second it, to write a letter of endorsement for our 3 members who are up for reappointment.
Motion. Your letter of endorsement for our 3 members of the commission up for.
Now, since I'm the only one who can, I will second. And now we will have the shortest roll call vote of this meeting. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Motion carries. Because the other 3 members abstain. Exactly.
I abstained.
Good. So I will get the letter off. Or Tamika, if you have 20 minutes, just write a single letter that covers all 3 members. Say they're all members in good standing. We all approve. The board approves of and wishes they would stay on, and all have expressed interest in staying on. Something like that.
Sure, I can whip something up.
Thank you. And then I'll sign it, and off we will go. Off it will go. And in fact, this will probably be completely electronic.
Okay.
I don't think we need paper signed.
Well, even if we did, you've got a lot of other stuff to sign anyways.
That's true. That's true. I'll be there. And on the way back, I can hand deliver it.
There you go.
Somebody. To Mike or Laura or somebody. All righty.
Just something off the record, Peter. I'm not going to play the games with the select board like we had to do last year.
I'm actually shortcutting their process by just in advance getting all my boards in gear and the letters written, and to heck with what they want. We will make sure that you are, anyone who's interested in reappointment, and this applies to all my boards, you're up for it. You want it, you get a letter recommendation, and we will get you reappointed because they don't dare not.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Is there any other business before the board?
Peter, I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Susi reached out, and he is looking for a certificate of compliance on 131 Pommogussett Road.
Huh? How far up is that? I don't even know.
I believe those are the lots, those 4 houses that he did.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those 4.
Yep. I guess he said
the ones that people were up in arms saying he's building in the swamp when he wasn't. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So he said he was supposed to have done it back in the fall, and it got overlooked, and so he just reached out. So I wanted to throw it out there if you guys were comfortable voting, or if you want it on the next one, whatever you like.
We'll put it on the next one. Okay. We'll take over the next 3 weeks. We'll take it. So each of us, or some of us, will take a drive-by and look at the property.
Okay.
Okay.
You got it.
So definitely put it on the agenda next time.
Okay.
We'll be all set for that.
Great.
That was 131 Pommogussett?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But he doesn't need him for the others? No? Okay.
We've already done at least a couple over there. I remember doing them last year.
Oh, okay.
So
we just missed one.
Yeah, I think this is a straggler.
Okay.
That's because it was built in the swamp.
The next one burned down, fell over, burned down, then fell in the swamp. But the next one, for the Monty Python fans. All right. So I've heard a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a second from Jared. All in favor? Cannon.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Motion carries. Thank you all so very, very much. I'll see you July 7th.
Bye, everybody.